Hello and welcome back. In this class, I am going to read a poem to you. The sixth lesson, When You Are Old by WB Yeats. This is the second love poem in the syllabus. Probably they might have thought it is interesting to prescribe love poems to few students. I'm just joking. But interestingly, both these two poems, Romeo and Juliet and When You Are Old, deal with the theme of love, but speaks beyond that and gives different dimensions to it, send messages beyond the theme of love. Let me read this poem to you first and analyze it later. I usually begin with a question or a couple of questions, but this time, for a change, we are not going to discuss these questions. In my opinion, these questions may narrow down the understanding or only give a particular perception to the poem. So I would like to read the poem straight away and discuss with you line by line. When You Are Old by WB Yeats. When you are old and grey and full of sleep and nodding by the fire, take down this book and slowly read and dream of the soft look your eyes had once and of their shadows deep. How many loved your moments of glad grace and loved your beauty with love false or true. But one man loved the pilgrim soul in you and loved the sorrows of your changing face. And bending down beside the glowing bars, murmured a little sadly how love fled, and paced upon the mountains overhead, and hid his face amid a crowd of stars. Dear students, let me read this poem to you in Kannada version, in Kannada translation. When You Are Old in Kannada translation. ನೀನು ಮುದುಕಿಯಾಗಿ ಕೂದಲು ನೆರೆತು ಕಣ್ಣಲ್ಲಿ ನಿದ್ದೆ ತುಂಬಿರಲು ಬೆಂಕಿಗೂಡಿನ ಬದಿಗೆ ಕುಳಿತು ಈ ಪುಸ್ತಕವನ್ನ ಕೈಗೆತ್ತಿಕೊ ಓದು ನಿಧಾನವಾಗಿ ಪ್ರಾಯದ ದಿನಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ನಿನ್ನ ಕಣ್ಣಲ್ಲಿ ಹೊಮ್ಮುತ್ತಿದ್ದ ಮಧುರ ನೋಟ ದಟ್ಟನೆ ನೆರಳ ಸ್ಮರಿಸು ಮನದಲ್ಲಿ ಪ್ರೀತಿಸಿದ್ದೆಷ್ಟು ಜನ ನಿನ್ನ ಹರ್ಷೋಲ್ಲಾಸ ಭರಿತ ಗಳಿಗೆಗಳನ್ನು ನಿಜದ ಪ್ರೀತಿಯೋ ಸುಳ್ಳೋ ಪ್ರೀತಿಸಿದ್ದರು ಅವರು ನಿನ್ನ ಚಲುವನ್ನು ಪ್ರೀತಿಸಿದ್ದೊಬ್ಬನೇ ನಿನ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಹುದುಗಿದ್ದ ಯಾತ್ರಿಕ ಪವಿತ್ರಾತ್ಮವನ್ನ ಪ್ರೀತಿಸಿದ ಹಾಗೆಯೇ ಬದಲುತ್ತಿದ್ದ ನಿನ್ನ ಮುಖದ ದುಗುಡಗಳನ್ನ ಜಗಜಗಿಸಿ ಹೊಳೆವ ಉರಿ ಸರಳುಗಳ ಬಳಿ ಕೂತು ಮುಖಬಾಗಿಸಿ ಉಸುರಿಕೋ ನಿನ್ನೊಳಗೆ ನೀನೇ ವ್ಯಥೆದನಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಗೆ ಪ್ರೀತಿ ಓಡಿ ಹೋಯಿತು ಎಂದು ದೂರದಲ್ಲಿರುವ ಗಿರಿಶಿಖರ ಏರಿ ಮರೆಸಿಕೊಂಡಿತು ತನ್ನ ಮುಖವ ನಕ್ಷತ್ರಗಳ ಮಧ್ಯೆ ತೂರಿ. When you are old and grey, full of sleep. When you are old and grey, full of sleep. The poet, the speaker in the poem, is addressing someone whom he knows, asking that person to imagine the old age. The speaker whom he is addressing is not old at the moment, but will become old one day. When she becomes old one day, she has nothing else to do than sitting by the fire and passing the time. When you are old and grey, repeatedly trying to suggest the old age, full of sleep and nodding by the fire, sitting before the fire, nodding by the fire. The speaker is expecting her to take up the book, probably the book in which he has written poems about her, or a book of his poems. Probably he is indicating that she has to take up that book and slowly read. There is no hurry. There is enough time. There is enough time to read and appreciate or think about it. Dream of the soft look your eyes had once. The poems or the book that she could read or she would read will reveal the soft looks she had once for her eyes and shadows that went deep, and their shadows deep. That will reveal the memories of the past, shadows deep. The poem that she could read or a book that she could read could remind her of her youth, her youthful days, her charm, her beauty, her soft looks that she had for her eyes. So, when we read this much, we will understand that the speaker directly addressing someone, probably the beloved that we will come to know in the second stanza, and asking her to be reminiscent or asking her to imagine the old age and the time of a gray hair, time of full of sleep, and that she could sit before the fire and nodding her head. She must read this book slowly. That could make her remember or reminded of her past. The sense of love that we can understand here at this point of time is that the speaker is addressing a beloved. That we will confirm or clarify in the second stanza when he says, how many loved your moments of glad grace? How many loved your moments of glad grace? And loved your beauty with love false or true? There are so many people who appreciated her. There are so many people who loved her beauty. There are so many people who loved her glad grace. It's quite obvious that the person is highly desirable, highly admirable, and beautiful. So she is worthy describing in particular ways, in many ways. So how many people, there are so many people loved her, not her, but her moments of glad grace. There are so many people loved her beauty. It may be true or it may be false. It may be genuine, it may not be. But these people, there are so many people who really loved her, her beauty. But there is one man loved the pilgrim soul in you. There is one man loved the pilgrim soul in her and loved the sorrows of her changing face. What does it mean? Beauty may fade away. After a certain age, beauty may fade away. But people who loved her for her beauty would also withdraw, or they prove their love was false. Sometimes those who really love on the basis of love somebody on the basis of beauty or external appearance or the glad grace, that love may fade away. It happened here as well, in his opinion, he says, the speaker says. But so many other people loved her beauty, not her, her beauty. There's a difference. The difference between love and infatuation to be understood in a simple way, you can do it. Whether you love the person or you love the person in him or her, that matters. If you love the person, you love the person for many reasons, for his external appearance, for his richness, for his attractiveness, or something or the other. But if you love the person in him or her, that is a matter of personality, not any appearance. If you love the person for his or her beauty, that is temporary. That is going to fade away. You know what happens next? So you are exposed actually after that. But the speaker says there are so many people who loved her glad grace, or moments of glad grace, her beauty. That could be false, that could be true. But there was one genuine person, one person who was genuine and loved the pilgrim soul in her, loved the questing soul in her, loved the searching soul in her. It is not about the person, about the person's appearance here, but it's about the person and personality. Probably he understood the person very well. The speaker is trying to suggest that he loved her irrespective of the beauty she had. That means he did not love her for her external beauty, but for internal or for the personal qualities that she had. Pilgrim soul, searching soul, questing soul. A soul is always in search of something new. So he is specifically talking about his love and allowed the sorrows of your changing face. His love did not change. His love did not change with the time. He loved her in such a way that he could love her unconditionally. He could love her despite the changes that are taking place in her face. Despite the sorrows made different, or made to express in a different ways, made or sorrows that brought out the changes in her face. Her face has been changed due to many experiences she had in her life. But he continued to love her even when she is in a difficult times, even when there is a sorrow, or even when her face changed due to the sorrows she had in her life or the experiences she had in her life. Irrespective of the things happening, and she continued to love her. But those people who loved her for her moments of glad grace, for external beauty, they are false. But he says he was the one who loved her genuinely. But what happened? And bending down beside the glowing bars, murmur a little sadly, how love fled. Is this genuine love of the speaker understood by the beloved, or the one who is addressing now? Probably not. There is a sense of rejection here. There is a sense of misunderstanding, more of rejection. That's the reason why the speaker continues to say, bending down beside the glowing bars. When you are old, you bend down, and then you will regret. You will murmur a little sadly. You will regret definitely that how love fled. Concentrate, L is in capital letter. Love has been personified here. How love fled, that slipped away from her hand, that she could regret that she missed a great opportunity and paced upon the mountains overhead. It is gone beyond her reach. It has gone beyond her reach that she could not reach or go there. And he hid his face amid a crowd of stars. It has gone so far that she could not go there. She could regret that love she had. Love, L capital, the lover fled away from her, beyond her reach, and he has gone too far and paced upon the mountains overhead. See, we have discussed when we discussed the first poem, Romeo and Juliet, that Romeo and Juliet were star-crossed lovers. That means fate did not bring them together, There was no union, they could not be united. That is how fatal it was. So they are star-crossed lovers, we say. Here too he is trying to suggest that he is among the stars. He is trying to suggest that they remain to be star-crossed lovers who could not be united in their lives. So there is a sense of regret, that she could regret when she is old. She could regret that her love fled far away from her, beyond her reach. So, the love or attraction based on beauty alone is unsustainable. It cannot sustain. So the speaker is trying to suggest that. And he's also trying to say that true love should not be rejected. Of course, she was the woman who's clearly beautiful, highly desirable and attractive. That's the reason why many people loved her beauty. But it should have been understood by her that what transient love that was very temporary, because beauty would fade away. People may not, all those people who loved her beauty may not love her sorrows. So may not be with her in the sad moments or the moments of tragedy or difficult days. So he is trying to suggest that she should have made a better choice. She would regret in her old age, because her love fled away from her hand, that true love which he had for her. So with this sense of rejection, he might be speaking to the beloved and trying to tell her or make his intentions clear to her. So let us discuss other themes and other aspects of the poem in our next episode, along with the question answers of the lesson. See you.